respect. Respect is an enormous value in the group. We respect all our people. So long before Black Lives Matter, or long before we are talking about segregation, discrimination, and diversity, and how to respect people for who they are. Whatever is their color of skin, their religion, their sexual orientation, this has been embedded in our group as something, as a key principle. And that is extremely important. We called it Janus because of the two faces. The face of joy, pleasure, fun, and the face of rigor. The face of the past, the tradition that you must respect. You have to know where you come from if you want to know where you go to. And that was extremely important. And the face of innovation and future. So all this has been done, but this makes no sense, and it's nothing if it is not accompanied by something which is much more important than any word you write, which is the behavior. You can only lead by example. And people are watching you. They are watching the way you behave. And everyone is watching. If you want to embark your people, you need to have them following, embracing, and very often moving ahead of you. And the success is really when you have your teams who are ahead of you. This means that, yes, you have achieved something, they have understood, you are with not only the right people, but they are so good that they have understood the disruption and they have understood that they need to move ahead, and they are moving so fast that they are faster than you. And this is the best achievement. Dictatorship is interesting because you don't need to consult anyone. You can make your decision pretty quickly. You impose your point of view and you move on. But that kind of system in a people business is not going to work for very long. It can work for a few years because people trust you, and as soon as you have a problem, they don't follow you anymore, or they leave. And in a business where talent is the essence of the business and the most important asset, it is important that people understand where you go. It's important that they understand the path you are going through, that they not only approve it, but embrace it and promote it and celebrate it. And it's extremely important that they feel part of that changes. So if you feel that you are always right, this is the beginning of the end. So it is critically important that you accept the confrontation, you accept the counter-argumentation, the debate, the discussion, and if you see that you are wrong on something, that you do recognize it, and with humility, you change your plan. Commensurate the time, the dedication, and the passion with the other part of your life, which is extremely important, which is your family, and you have to be a good family man, to spend time with your family, to spend time with the kids, with your wife. Otherwise, you pay at the end of the day the price. Because I must say that I have a very bad balance. I work still now long hours. After, I must say that I'm compensating, and this is a good thing, by the intensity when I'm there. When I'm present, I'm present. My grandfather has been extremely important, particularly when it was coming to lesson of life, philosophy, teaching me the basic things that make you a decent man, the values, the virtues that you may have and you must have. And it has been extremely important to me. He was incredibly thoughtful, and he was teaching not only to me but to all his grandchildren the lessons of the life and how we should behave and what's right, what's wrong, and trying also to teach us a little bit of the Torah, but that was something which was a little bit more difficult. The lesson of life was easier to understand than going through the books. It was a townhouse, so on that there was a big plate with plenty of pesetas. And the beggars were coming and taking whatever they wanted. And one day I told him, but you know, they can take whatever they want. You should give them what you think is right, instead of this can be unfair, because there are the shy people who take 1 or 2, and there are the daring people who take 10 or 12 or 15. And he said, when you give, you don't show that you are giving. They have to take themselves what they consider the need for themselves. But if you give, you give the feeling that you are giving to them and that they are beggars. So the dignity of the beggar is that you don't show him that he is a beggar. I remember with my grandfather, the house was open. Every Shabbat dinner, there was an empty seat if someone was coming. And there was that expression which was, quand il y en a pour 3, il y en a pour 4. When there is for 3, there is for 4. When there is for 5, there is for 6. So please come in. And after the crisis of the beginning of the 90s and the first Kuwait-Iraqi war, and there has been a collapse of the economy. It was terrible. We lost, or we were about to lose in the first year, something like 25% of our revenues. And instead of taking the decision immediately to fire a third or a quarter of the people, Marcel Blanchet was the chairman of the supervisory board, and he asked me what I planned to do, and I said I will propose that we reduce our compensation and instead of firing people. And he said, Maurice, it's crazy, there is no reason why people will accept to do that. Why don't you do what is reasonable, which is to restructure? It's a word which has not been invented by dogs. And you restructure the organization. And unfortunately, you have to do some layoffs, and you do it. I said, yes, this is something that I will keep in last recourse, but I would like to do something of the like. I would like to offer. And I organized a referendum by which there was people at my level, we are reducing by 25%, people below by 15 or 20%, then 10%, 8%, and at the lowest level, they were getting a raise. And we got 96% of approval.
Wow.
And I told them, listen, you will save people, save jobs, but I'm not asking you to do that to save jobs, because if somebody has to take the responsibility of making layoffs, it's me. So if you vote against, you vote against. You don't feel guilty and don't consider that because you are voting against, you are firing people. You will not. The one who will have to do it, it's me, it's my job, and I will do it. But if I want to do that, it's because we are a different kind of company with a different kind of spirit, where solidarity means something. And hopefully within 2 years, we will go back to your initial salary. And we did it within 1 year. A part of my Jewish education, let's put it that way. First, there is this idea of the past, the tradition and the future. As I said, and I believe that is true in the Jewish religion, you have to know where you come from if you want to know where you go. And I think that recognizing your roots, having a profound respect and loyalty to the tradition and the family is something which is, I consider, I may be wrong, but it's a core value to the Jews. It was considered by Shimon Peres as a great quality and a great virtue, and that is to do not be easily satisfying. So I wanted to know exactly what he wanted to say, and because you can take it two ways. You can say, okay, I'm not satisfied because I'm always angry, I'm always upset or whatever. No. It's because you are demanding of yourself. You cannot be satisfied of what you are doing because you want to do even better, even more. This feeling of being always demanding of yourself. You cannot ask from others what you don't deliver yourself. Loyalty, solidarity, a feeling of sharing also. So tzedakah is something which is important. It shows the solidarity toward the community and the sharing also. You need to share. You know, I have a very clear definition of what a Mentsch is. A Mentsch is a decent person. When looking at the eve of his life and looking back, there are very few things he can be ashamed of, and certainly not having done deliberately harm to somebody else. And this will be enough for me. If only I can be a decent man and having a decent family and playing my role within my community decently, it would be fine. It would be just fine.